Well, the war between the United States and Venezuela looks like it's just days away. Just today, the U.S. Navy intercepted a Russian ship on its way to Venezuela. It actually intercepted the same ship 3 times, and according to the FAA, they are warning pilots, do not fly over Venezuela. Look at this right here. Says drug boats from Venezuela are mainly moving cocaine to Europe, not fentanyl to the United States, according to experts. But why would the Trump administration continue to say that these Venezuelan boats need to be shot out of the water? Well, it's because they are a threat. Not only that, if the United States allows these drug boats coming from Venezuela, whether they're moving a specific product to Europe or the United States, shouldn't matter, because what President Trump is doing, according to reports, is shutting down Nicolas Maduro's operation. That right there is key. But look at this. It says U.S. warship cuts path of a Russian tanker headed to Venezuela. I want to read you this, okay? I want to read you a little bit about what's going on here because, again, this right here is huge. It says a sanctioned Russian oil tanker made a U-turn on the way to Venezuela after a U.S. warship intersected its route near the country's coast. According to Bloomberg, it says the Vest, the Russian vessel, the Seahorse, was en route to Venezuela to deliver a fuel cargo on November 13th when a U.S. destroyer, the USS Stockdale, positioned itself in its path. The Russian vessel changed course headed towards Cuba, and the warship sailed near Venezuelan territorial waters toward Puerto Rico. The Seahorse has since tried to approach Venezuela twice, but turned back both times and remains idling in the Caribbean. You can see it right here. Okay, so it says the Seahorse remains idling as of November 20th, which is yesterday. Says USS Stockdale's path along the Venezuelan coast on November 23rd. So right here, just stopping it. Now, why is this important? Well, here's the thing. This is a Russian tanker, which according to their just based off common sense, it should hold oil, which Russian oil is sanctioned, okay? The United States doesn't want anybody buying Russian oil. And if they do well, obviously, the United States is going to step in or sanction that country. The United States and Venezuela are not getting along. So what does this leave us with? Well, here's the concern. According to multiple experts, the problem with this tanker coming in at this time is it could be delivering oil. It could. But again, Venezuela has a lot of oil. So what many experts are saying, according to former military personnel, they are saying this likely has weapons. Okay, not oil, likely has weapons. And the United States does not want Venezuela reaching out to Iran, Russia, China, or one of the other countries in order to get weapons to try to combat the United States. Look at this. Says right here, I want to show you this. Says right here, at least 4 U.S. military jets were flown to Venezuela coast, according to flight tracking. Now, why were these jets flown to the Venezuelan coast? Well, according to a report just this morning, we saw a U.S. Military plane that actually shut its transponders off, or the planes just vanished. So based off what we're hearing, the planes turned off their transponders. Well, who didn't turn off their transponders were these military jets. The reason, according to reports, why this is such a big deal is because this right here is showing a military demonstration to Venezuela that if you do not, cater to us, you do not do what President Trump is saying, well, this is going to be the result. That's why some are saying that we are just days away, according to a couple reports. And again, these aren't verified, and the Trump administration's never going to let this slip until it happens. But they're saying that this could happen this weekend. We could see in the next 2 days the United States and Venezuela are headed towards a war. But look at this. It says U.S. warns airlines of potential hazards when flying over Venezuela. This is normally what happens, okay? Where you see the airspace get shut down or there's warnings. Do not fly over this country because we are headed towards war. You saw this with Russia. You saw this with Ukraine. You see this with Israel and in Gaza. Don't fly over those regions, okay? They shut them down. Look at this. Says the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration warned major airlines on Friday of a potentially hazardous situation when flying over Venezuela and urged them to exercise caution. says the FAA notice cited the worsening security situation and heightened military activity in or around Venezuela and said threats could pose risks for aircraft at all altitudes. So again, it's not just the lower altitudes. Says right here, there has been a massive American military buildup in the region in recent months, including the U.S.'s Navy's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, and at least 8 other warships and F-35 aircraft. I can tell you right now that this right now is the closest we have been to a war with Venezuela right now. And with this tanker trying to enter into Venezuela again, that has a lot of issues. I want to keep reading. This says the Seahorse, meanwhile, is under sanctions from the UK and European Union and is one of 4 Russian vessels that delivers a diluent called naphtha to sanction Venezuela. Despite its abundant oil reserves, the barrels Venezuela produces are sludgy and sulfurous, meaning it needs lighter oil products known as dill diluent to help supplies flow through pipelines. Venezuela relies heavily on imported naphtha because the limited amounts it produces are used to make gasoline for the fuel-starved nation. Okay, so again, this could just be Russia sending this tanker to Venezuela to help them out. But again, why is this coming at this time? That's what some people are wondering. Why is this coming now? That's why there's a lot of people that are believing that this was actually just a cover-up for Russia sending military supplies or weapons to Venezuela to help hold off the United States. But again, I think this is interesting, specifically the fact that President Donald Trump is working with Russia and Ukraine to try to get this 28-point peace deal done. Just the other day, we learned what was in this. And again, it has more for Russia than it has for Ukraine. All it's really doing for Ukraine is getting Russian soldiers out of the country as opposed to helping Ukraine and getting more of the country back. So we'll see what happens. But interesting thing right now is that, yes, a U.S. Navy ship had to intercept a Russian tanker in order to get them away from Venezuela, but as of yesterday, it's sitting idly by, just waiting to enter. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of days. But right now, we're still really in limbo because nobody knows exactly what is going on. But based off what we've heard from President Trump is the United States has options. He's considered those options, and he will make a decision soon. But again, we don't know when, we don't know what it's going to look like, and we don't know how exactly it's going to impact the American people. But as soon as we get more information on this, I promise I'll bring you all the latest news and updates as soon as we know. But again, that's all we know as of today. So, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next